Lightcolorshadow.com is back after a long break. We take a quick look on Adobe's new Lightroom update from October 2021. What catches the trusted eye immediately are the new buttons for the local adjustments. That means the brush linear gradient and the radial gradient are comprehended to the masking tool. There you'll also find the color range and luminance range tools to adjust a specific area of the image. If the shot contains depth information, there's also the depth tool contained. So here we go with a sample image taken with a drone, and let me get this quick straight with the auto editing function. Let's say now I want to edit a large area of the image, then I decide me for the linear gradient. I click on the masking tool and choose linear gradient. This let me easily adjust a big area of the image with a smooth transition to the areas which should stay untouched. Let's add more clarity to the fields in the foreground. With the clarity slider, this increases the micro contrast and makes everything more plastically. I can increase the effect when making the gradient more compact, and of course I can rotate it to adjust it more to the horizon. All this is of course not new, the new feature is just the organization of the tools. There's now a mask panel which opens when you add a new mask. Photoshop users knows that very well, and it makes it finally easier when you have a lot more local adjustments. So you don't have to look anymore in your image for the small gray dots which signalize there is an adjustment. And of course there are more comfort options like an extended overlay function which makes it more easier to adjust the area. And what is easier to access now are the add and subtract function. Let's say I don't want to have the effect of the linear gradient on the river. For that I click here on the subtract, select the brush and take the red back. So the canvas stays untouched. As you can imagine, the opposite happens when I use the Add button. With this, the mask gets extended with the radial gradient, for example, which I put here on the sun. So mask 1 contains now a linear and a radial gradient, and we cut out the canal so it is not affected by the mask. A really new feature is the select sky function, so to make it more confusing, just let me add a completely new mask, and this time I choose the select sky feature. As soon as I click, Lightroom starts to recognize where the sky in the image is automatically. That's a really nice comfort feature, but in my sample image here not very necessary, because there is a clear horizon line. So a linear gradient would be already fine. With an image like this, the select sky feature is much more meaningful. So we have this tree here on the right, which makes it more complicated to just use a linear gradient. Let's see how well the sky is selected by Lightroom. The result is quite good when you consider the horizon line which is created by the trees. The tree on the right side with its fine and small branches looks with the red overlay completely ignored, but let's check with another overlay. With the white and black one can see the selection of the automized function is a full success. The tree is black like the deselected rest of the image. So with such a challenging shot, one can say the select sky feature works really great, even when you consider the clouds of this winter day, which making it more complicated for the algorithm. The next big thing is of course the select subject, which works also greatly reliable. So this is probably not the predestined shot, but for demonstration it's well enough. I click on select subject, and after a quick processing time, the tree, better said the foliage, is selected automatically. I think that's what everybody expected. And of course, if you want to select the whole background, then you can invert everything and the tree stays untouched. If you are missing the trunk, you can just add it manually with the Add button, choose the brush and paint over the trunk. Voila! As I said, this is not the best example and I can think a portrait shot or product photo is much better fitting for this feature. And let's have a quick look on the color and luminance range. I want to emphasize the blue of the sky for this. I choose the color range selection and click on the blue logically, and I can put now the saturation up, for example. To get more precision of what I want to have adjusted, I can use the Refine slider here. With the luminance selection, you can control more precisely the brightness levels of certain areas of the image. This tool offers also a kind of Refine slider. To brighten up the foreground, I do this and use the slider to only select the foreground. This looks quite good now, and I can amplify the exposure or shadows to brighten up a bit. Improvements which can be found outside the Develop module are, for example, the metadata workflow. It is possible now to display the metadata for the active image or all selected images. Exactly here in the library module, it is found here on the right side. These are my selected photos and this is a target photo. And there is a new Customize button which allows to select the metadata which should be shown in the panel, and it can be even arranged. To increase even more the performance, there is an Edit Only mode, so all metadata are not displayed. Other smaller new features happened under the hood: an optimized database file which has a new file ending. And the options for XMP data has been enhanced with an autosave option and other enhancements. Of course, camera and lens support was added and new camera matching color profiles for Canon cameras too. If you want to filter your images by a specific date, this is now possible with a new filter option. Last but not least, there have been new premium presets added with 8 new categories like black and white, landscape, food and so on. So far the last Lightroom update from October 2021. I hope you got a nice overview and have fun with the new masking functions. For more photography topics you can visit the Lightcolorshadow.com. Thank you very much for watching and we see us in one of my next videos. Until then, good light for you and see you next time. Bye bye.